Afternoon, down here on Oregon's McKenzie River, hanging out with the Caddisfly crew. Introducing Sage's new ACCEL series of rods. Available in both single-handers, spey rods, and a nice little group of switch rods. 11'4" in length, available in 6, 7, and 8 weight. Here's the 7114-4. The 7-weight switch tends to be the 30-06 switch. It's not too much for trout, and it's plenty for the anadromous game, be it steelhead, silvers, sea-run browns, sea-run dollies. They all measure up and are on the menu. At 11'4", this is a really interesting length. It's not real short as in 10'6", 10'9", 11, and it's not really baby spey at 11'6" or 11'9". It's kind of a tweener. At 11'4", you've got a true switch rod that a guy can indicator fish with. He can swing a Skagit short, which is what I've got on here. He can play it with a single hand approach, which I'll show you, as well as a classic two-handed baby spey in a smaller package. The new ACCEL 11'4". I've got this one outfitted with the Skagit Max Short 400 with the grip shooter 25 pound, the lightest grip shooter made.
And a sink tip.
I've got a 10-foot type 6 sink tip on it, which is a nice little setup for summer run conditions, say on the Rogue, here on the McKenzie, other rivers in Oregon throughout the summer and in the fall. Okay? So, give you a little demo here. So, when people say switch rod, a lot of folks still to this day will go, well, what do you mean switch rod? Well, switch rod means that I can play with it single-handed or two-handed. Now, I'll give you an example here. I got one hand on here, and yes, here's a little single spey performed single-handed, okay? So here's the spey cast, there's the snap tee, done one-handed. There's a nice 60-foot cast, nothing to it, okay? So I can do things single-handed. I can also put it various lines on this rod. I could put a Scandi, a Rio Scandi on here. I could put a Scandi short Versi-tip on here, which is a nice summer run line. I could also take what's called a Rio cold water outbound 37.5-foot taper, bounce it up one line, so in this case put an 8 on it, on the 7, on a 1 bump rule, outbound cold water, the longer one, the 37.5-foot head, and I could be on the beaches of Puget Sound as these migratory silvers come back, and I could overhead this thing. I could overhead it just like this. And I could literally throw sink tip type distances. Now granted, I got a Skagit Max Short on here, but just to give you some idea of the versatility of a switch rod, even with this line, the distance I could throw overhead, particularly with this sort of room behind me, this beautiful bar, you don't see that many like this, by the way. I can throw this thing overhead, outrageous. Well, not that one, Chris. Got away. Got away. Let's get control. Oh yeah, there we are, boys. Watch. That's over there. So you put an outbound cold water on there, 37.5-foot taper, which will keep an overhead cast far more under control than the Skagit, and we'll throw that distance and then some. We could cover a massive swath of water off a beach or even a lake, okay? Now here, the 11'4" 7 ACCEL switch, I've got a classic swinging rig. I might use this for rainbows in Alaska, dollies up on the Sauk Skagit in the winter, summer steelhead here on the McKenzie, down on the Rogue, Grand Ron in another 60 days. The ACCEL series is punctuated with a modern action format. This lends itself to some really relaxed casts. And as you can see there, that was about 80 feet. And if you paid attention to my stroke, it was very relaxed, very unhurried, with very little energy used. Watch again. Here's a little snap T move. Not really trying at all, just super duper easy squeezy relaxed stroke. A really lovely fishing tool. See how the grip shooter comes in? About the time that orange on a grip shooter line hits my hand, you are typically about one strip away from the ideal overhang. Wombat. Okay. The wombat cast is a hybrid between the classic Perry poke and the snap T. When you hear somebody bring up wombat cast, that's what it is. Making a snap T move to anchor, the classic dump or poke, T move, boom. Works wonderful in a piece of water like this with a switch rod like that. Skagit short line lends itself to those type of casts. There I'm coiling at my 50% rule. That orange hits my hand, I'm really one more strip away. There's my coil off those 3 fingers, cuffing off of there. I'm cuffed, I'm coiled. Can even throw a little nice easy single spay. Lovely little outfit. This rod's going to see some action for me before long in the 907 to South Central Alaska. New ACCEL Switch Rods, August 1st, 2014, new from Sage.